We're only a few months away from the 1-year mark that Razer released their successor to the Razer Phone, the Razer Phone 2. It was not a very big upgrade over the original, offering the newer flagship 845 processor at the time, a brighter display, wireless charging, and an IP67 water resistance, and a few other subtle features. But really the only feature that helps it stand out from the smartphones we have today in 2019 is the 120Hz display. With the Razer Phone 2, you get a 5.72-inch 1440 by 2560 resolution IPS LCD display with a 120Hz refresh rate that does need to be enabled in the settings. This refresh rate is twice as much as most handsets on the market today, and it makes content appear incredibly smooth and fluid. Swiping through menus, scrolling through apps, and watching videos, everything seems more lifelike. And I'm glad Razer didn't cut this feature in the successor. I'm not sure why they would, but I'm glad that it's still here. I think it's also worth mentioning that they also increased the peak brightness to 580 nits, which is much better than the max of 380 nits in the original. But unfortunately, the positive press surrounding this display is not and was not enough to make this phone a hit because it fell short in so many other areas. There are embarrassingly thick bezels around the display, not only on the sides, but on the top and bottom. So the top and bottom bezels, they feature these big bezels because they support these big speaker grills. But those can be significantly trimmed down. At least I truly think they can be trimmed down. Just look at the competition, like the Red Magic 3 comes to mind. It's a gaming phone that makes the Razer Phone look archaic. It has a massive 6.65-inch display, but still manages to include slim top and bottom bezels that house dual stereo front-facing speakers. They might not be as loud, but it makes the front of the phone look way better. Now, I actually don't mind the blocky look and feel of this phone, even though I think one could make the argument that rounded, tapered sides could make the phone feel more comfortable in the hand for gaming. But I do feel like this phone should have a headphone jack, especially if it's geared towards gamers. It has a USB-C adapter in the box with 24-bit DAC, so it's not the biggest offender in this area, but a headphone jack would be nice. Additionally, since this is a phone geared for gamers, the 64 gigabytes of internal storage in the base model is starting to look very outdated in the smartphone market. Once again, especially for a gaming central smartphone. The base model, in my opinion, should feature 128 gigabytes of storage. Now, Razer has the excuse of not making the cameras great since it is a gaming phone, but if they can use that excuse, the gaming features should be great, and many of them are not, as mentioned earlier. The cameras are largely the same as the original phone, which has very unimpressive cameras. They have added optical image stabilization, and the Samsung sensors have been swapped with superior Sony sensors. But camera quality has only really been improved only relatively and in terms of actual camera quality. The camera app is still messy and not very aesthetically pleasing. In short, the Razer Phone 2's camera quality is better than the original, but it still falls short of the other phones in this price category. And the battery is pretty solid at 4,000 milliamp hours, but with the 120Hz display turned on, you will notice the battery life dropping much faster. Now, I appreciate the addition of fast 15-watt wireless charging and 18-watt wired charging, but for a phone of this size, I would expect an even larger battery. The Red Magic 3, which I hate to keep referencing, but I think it absolutely crushes it in the specs department, it manages to pack in a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so it should be possible for Razer to squeeze in a larger capacity. And given the size of this phone, I think there's no excuses. This is a big phone. A really good gaming phone needs more than just a really good display and a fast processor, both of which this phone has. It needs an ergonomic design, a plethora of features, exceptionally strong battery life, and quality speakers. The Razer Phone 2 definitely checks some of these boxes, but I think it misses more often than it hits. Like I said earlier, I can excuse the poor cameras if there are other areas that make up for it, but I can't say with confidence that this is the case. Almost a year later, and we're seeing more attractive gaming phones on the market that cost almost half as much as the Razer Phone 2 did when it first launched. The phone that has really caught my attention, and I've mentioned it already a couple times in this video, is the Red Magic 3. It costs about $500, but it features a bigger AMOLED display, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, up to 12 gigabytes of RAM with the 855 chipset, and more gaming features like touch-sensitive triggers on the side that can be remapped, and there's even a built-in fan that keeps the phone cool when gaming for long hours. How cool is that? If Razer decides to make a Razer Phone 3, which I hope they do, I hope that they at the very least consider adding these kind of features that truly make a difference when gaming. With that said, my intentions were not to bash the Razer Phone 2, simply they were to critique the device and help improve upon it for the Razer Phone 3. So those are my thoughts on the Razer Phone 2. Let me know yours in a comment down below. As always, I'm BoHD from PhoneDog.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you right back here in the next one. See ya.